Hello. Welcome to Muriel's Murders. I'm Muriel, and I love true crime.
My name's Nick, and I am not a fan.
Thank you for joining our Patreon. Each episode, I force Nick to listen to me tell him a story of a true crime. From the team that brought you how to protect yourself from nose biting and how to possibly survive drinking poisoned bootleg liquor comes a new fear unlocked. You can die from doing too many squats.
And by the team, you mean Nick and Muriel's Murders.
Yeah, Muriel's
Okay.
Murders.
Just for, that was a little bit of a deep cut,
Well,
So you can die from doing too many squats. Great.
listen, I was telling Nick before this started that I put this episode together almost a year ago and kept it. And it's like I had all the research done, but then as I was doing it, I was like, how is this a true crime? And then I got done. And then recently I was like, just do it. And then I did it. So whatever. You know what I mean?
It's not a true crime, but it can kill you.
It can kill you. And that's, pretty scary. It's Halloween.
And all these extra, buff people need to get put in their place anyways.
Well,
So,
also this kind of reminded me a lot of us. So I thought maybe
we're
people
extra
could
buff.
relate. No, because we're you specifically, but you just going real hard in the paint. You know what I mean? So there's some good parallels here.
Okay.
So even though this situation is extremely rare, I will say that I found the whole thing to be radically relatable. If you're like me and you go through periods of slacking on exercise just to turn around and make up for it by hiking harder than you've ever hiked before and then not being able to walk the next day, this story is for you, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I delved into it, the more I realized there isn't much of a criminal element involved, except maybe the fitness industrial complex that brought us the CrossFit phenomenon. But it is definitely a threat.
Yes. Good.
That lurks below a benign existence. And without further elucidation, I bring you rhabdomyolysis, heretofore to be referred to as rhabdo.
This is awesome.
I hope so.
Yeah. I think I think this is good. All right. Should I do a little are you done with your thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Could you keep going for this intro? How do I know?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we have a whole other part.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to say real quick that we've had a lot of new people sign up for the Patreon, a lot of new paid subscribers. Thank you. We love you. We do shout you guys out by name, but we usually try to do that on the free episodes that come out for the masses,
Yeah, the main feed
our
episode.
main feed free episodes. So Muriel is putting together a big 4-part epic. So we're going to shout you guys out by name during when that comes out. So just sit tight. Know we love you. Know we appreciate you.
No, we're trying to push that 4-parter out like a little baby, but turned out to be a big baby, and I gave up halfway through. Just kidding. We've got it coming for you.
Okay.
All right. Remember,
yes.
This is a true story involving murder, violence, drugs. What was I talking about? Adult themes, etc. But you signed up for this, so it's your funeral.
We're going to joke. We're going to curse. We're going to really kind of jam job our political biases in inappropriate moments.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. No, we're going super hard
so
with our
annoying.
cultural commentary. Okay.
What are you talking about?
I just want to get people ready for this.
All right, Nikki, are you ready to hear this story?
No.
Okay, let's get started. All right.
Yeah.
So our story begins in the Australian state of Victoria at the Melbourne Pavilion. The capital city of Melbourne is a huge city abutting the coastlines of Port Phillip Bay. About 6 miles north of the beach sits an unassuming, huge brick complex, the Melbourne Pavilion. The outside modeled with hasty paint jobs covering graffiti, the white bee in the Melbourne Pavilion sign hanging slightly askew. But inside is a spectacular event space with a fascinating array of services. They call it a quote unquote inner city heritage listed building. Not sure what that means. The building itself is about 100 years old from the Art Deco period. It still retains those high arched ceilings and some design elements, but has also been blasted with huge dripping crystal chandeliers and disco balls, confetti, lasers, hanging neon creatures illuminated by black light in various stages, and fight cages are also available depending on the event.
What are you talking about? So it's an abandoned building where shit goes down on the inside that's like not abandoned, that's like has real commerce involved?
No, it's like an event space. It has real commerce involved. Just the outside's kind of like
covered in
looking.
graffiti and the B in the Melbourne's all sideways.
Yeah. What
are you talking about?
An event space, Nick. An epic event space.
In freaking post-apocalyptic Australia?
Yeah, so
this is
just
Mad Max event space?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Also, I guess there's like a Moroccan theme to the whole thing. I didn't see that.
Okay.
But I think I may not know what a Moroccan theme looks like. Right. So anyway, events at the center range from like elegant candlelit corporate events and black tie weddings to rock concerts and boxing matches. And then from time to time, a brightly lit octagon-shaped cage is erected in the center of the space. The pavilion is packed to the rafters with black cabaret-style seating, and folks shell out hundreds of dollars for tickets for a good old-fashioned MMA battle.
All right.
Cage fighting at its finest, brutal mixed martial arts bouts. And contrary to what I thought, you can't bite, pull hair, do groin attacks, or poke people's eyes. But you can kick the shit out of each other, punch, and like grapple.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
You're not familiar.
Also, so these are sanctioned, these aren't illegal fights. These are sanctioned fights, but some sort of like minor league. It's not UFC.
Yes. So we'll get into that.
Okay.
Because it's Australia, it's also a different thing, right? So the Hex Fight Series MMA promotional organization holds professional and amateur bouts at the Melbourne Pavilion. Now, their website, sorry guys, I don't know if you are a part of this website, but it is not particularly informative or well written. But according to their website, the Hex Fight Series, quote, signs the best fighters from Australia and around the world to ensure the high standard of fights where fighters are evenly matched with styles that are likely to encourage an exciting fight. It's the only explanation.
Okay.
And then they also promote an amateur series of fights called Road to Hex. The landing page to Road to Hex just says, quote, Road to Hex is the amateur promotion we are launching that's attached to the Hex Fight Series.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. If you Google it, it's the only thing it says.
I worked with this kid that showed up one day and he was all bruised and beat up. And I was like, damn, dude, what happened to you? Did you get beat up? I was like kind of half joking. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what happened? And he was like, oh, you know, there's like these there's like these illegal fights, and he just signs up and he goes and fights guys and gets his ass beat. He loses, but they were paying him like $600 just to do it and to lose.
Oh my god!
And then I think if you win, it was like $1,500 or something. It's like a big, you know, and it's like literally. I was like, hold on, time out.
Is he strong looking?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
you're like he's a kid. I'm like, is he like?
No, he's an adult man who's younger than me.
Okay.
And but then when he was describing it, it was like literally under a bridge. Like not under a bridge, under the freeway.
Oh no.
Under the literally like under one of these crazy freeway passes. And I was like, are you good at fighting? He was like, yeah, I'm all right. And I was like, are other people? He's like, I don't know, I don't watch. And I was like, why? He's like, because the cops are gonna come. Like he just shows up, fights, gets his ass beat, gets his money, and leaves. He's like, he doesn't stick around at all. And then I was basically just asking him like, would someone stop it if it got out of control? And he was like, I don't know. Like there's sort of someone kind of in charge, but think you're just on good
How did
faith.
you not tell me about this until now?
Honestly, I thought I did. When I started telling this story, I was like, I probably already told Muriel this, and we have to do the thing like we pretend that we haven't.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. That's insane.
I'll tell you who it is off camera.
Oh, I was just gonna say, who was it?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So I just set up this whole exposition about it's not on a freeway. It's this like kind of big powerhouse, crazy multi-events center, right?
Okay.
And what the launching pad into that is Road to Hex. And 21-year-old Jake Sendler had his eye on the glorious Road to Hex. Jake was handsome, dark-featured, with a shaved head and absolutely ripped. He looked kind of like a young, brown-eyed Channing Tatum. Very, very cute. Jake was like,
What color eyes are Channing Tatum's eyes? Aren't they brown?
no, he's like blue-eyed.
He is.
Yeah, he's blue-eyed. He's blue-eyed and very pale-lipped for some reason. His coloring is so strange. He always looks to me like he's eating chalk. And he has like Angelina Jolie lips. So like it's a lot of like white space.
Just a vast Arctic tundra.
He needs some sort of coloring because it just really, it's like, it's very strange to me. It looks like, I think he's really handsome. But he does have some very starkly pale lips.
Okay.
All right. Jake, according to friends and family, he's this really fun, energetic, outdoorsy beach guy with aspirations. Jake worked as a personal trainer while also studying to become a PE teacher. And he had a certification in youth work, this vocational certificate that was specifically for people who want to work with kids in community service settings. So he also worked with local kids kind of in like physical fitness.
Cool.
In addition to all that, Jake was in training himself. He was an amateur MMA fighter in Melbourne, training at the Mat Masters Academy in Huntingdale, Victoria. And in the winter and spring of 2025, Jake was preparing for his first official amateur MMA fight at the Road to Hex in the Melbourne Pavilion. His debut was the first step in becoming a professional MMA fighter. Now, leading up to the March 2nd fight in Road to Hex 3, because they're all like numbered, this is the third one, Jake trained like mad. In addition to work in school, he put himself through grueling exercises. And leading up to the event, he was sore and his pee was turning brown. But he chalked it up to like working too hard and dehydration. So he upped his water take and kept going. He was a fitness nut. He only ate organic food in astonishingly good health. Before the fight, Jake had a video interview and said he was feeling, quote, amazing, feeling really good, excited, pumped. On the night of the fight, Jake was medically cleared for the bout. It was game on. The atmosphere was explosive. The event had the weight and the feeling of being real, professional, and expensive. And he had a cheering section. Despite the exorbitant price of tickets, Jake had 60 friends and family in the audience.
Damn.
And by the time he stepped into...
When the last time did we have 60 friends or family in the audience?
Literally when we did a show for our friends and family in Seattle like 15 years ago.
Oh, that's true. And it probably wasn't even 60.
So,
Yeah.
by the time he stepped into the brightly lit octagon cage, Jake Sendler was already going into multi-organ failure.
Oh, God.
Jake fought the full 3 rounds of the match,
Yeah.
although I couldn't find any information on the results of the fight. And then afterwards, he finished. He held his gloves up high to show that he didn't get knocked out, but he needed help getting out of the ring. And the medical staff at the event thought he had a concussion and was dehydrated, so they called an ambulance. When Jake got to the ICU, doctors did a series of emergency surgeries just to find massive amounts of dead muscle tissue in Jake's body.
Oof.
He was placed in a medically induced coma and he died 2 weeks later.
Oh, man. R.I.P.
Jake Sendler did not have a concussion and dehydration. What Jake actually had was rhabdomyolysis, a potentially deadly condition that happens usually after a crush injury. So it happens a lot after like earthquakes, when buildings collapse and stuff like that. Or
you mean when a person gets crushed?
Yes. So
Okay.
or like a machinery accident where your muscles get crushed.
Classic piano falling out of the sky, Looney Tunes style.
I'm really glad that you interrupted me for a third time to add that in, because that was worth it. Or just kidding, you can interrupt me anytime. Nobody cares about me. It can happen. It happens when it's caused by exercise, and when it's caused by exercise, it's called exertional rhabdomyolysis. See? Rhabdo.
Yeah. Exertional rhabdo.
Rhabdomyolysis. Exertional rhabdomyolysis. So basically, super intense exercise can cause muscle tissue to break down and release like components and enzymes and proteins, components of the muscle, into the blood that shouldn't be there. And then those components can gum up the kidneys, shut them down, damage the liver. So best case scenario, you can treat rhabdo with IV fluids, to flush out the body. But in some cases, they're so bad that patients need kidney dialysis to flush out the kidneys.
Has anyone ever died of this from doing Pilates? Because I consider what we're doing hardcore LA10 type activity. I think we're dedicated. We're getting gains. We're crushing it.
No, probably not.
Probably.
That's not what we're talking about right
because
now.
I think that what we're doing is unbelievable. But
Yeah.
I'm sure like in the scope of working out, it's weak sauce.
I'm not going to say that.
Well,
but
you better. You're doing it too. What, are we both just going to start peeing brown and then die?
I think that that it's not that type of exercise at all.
Okay, because you're okay.
Okay, I just don't think it's not even on the level of.
Okay,
that
that's
type
what
of
I'm saying.
exercise.
Just say that part. That's what I'm asking. I'm just double checking, even though I need the people to know. That
Oh,
we're
you're
next
worried.
level.
I thought you wanted me to validate you.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I do want you to validate me that what we're doing is hardcore and cool.
Yeah.
And tough.
Yeah.
But also that we're going to survive it.
I don't think Pilates is on the list of things that would cause rhabdo, but probably hiking a lot. Like we've done this before where we were getting ready for our wedding. We were trying to lose like 15 pounds and get like buff and tan.
Which we did. Hello.
And we were going on like 4-hour hikes like every day, like
Yeah.
double rounds on like these circuits around Runyon Canyon, just like so sore, so tired. Just you come home and you're dead, We were doing that for like 6 weeks. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
We
so,
survived. Okay.
like I said, best case scenario, you can treat rhabdo with IV fluids. Some cases are so bad that patients need dialysis. And then the worst cases can lead to permanent kidney damage and liver damage or full-on organ failure and death. And the symptoms include extreme soreness and dark pee. I've had both of those. TMI. But because, you take a hike and don't drink any water because you don't like drinking water, you're in trouble, man. Especially in LA. All right. But
Don't joke about it.
What's crazy is that sometimes the symptoms, they don't show up until days after the initial extreme exercise. And in some cases, people could have rhabdo and maybe have the pee thing, but not the soreness, and be unaware that their kidneys are just like throwing in the towel, right?
Damn.
And while it's relatively rare, about 26,000 people in the U.S. develop rhabdo every year, it's not unheard of. In fact, just a few months before Jake Sendler's death in Melbourne, the men's lacrosse team at Tufts University in the U.S. had a mass rhabdo event. So in September 2024, Tufts students were fresh off of summer break. The weather was cooling down and school events were ramping up. All that included the start of training for lacrosse season. And the men's lacrosse team at Tufts is really, really good.
Yeah, and because that's like Ivy League. It's outside of Boston, right? Or it's in New Hampshire or something. I visited the Tufts campus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I did that Exeter
Oh,
program.
cool. Yeah.
Exeter, boy, what you know about that? That's very fancy, and I am on that level of fanciness. And they were like took us to Tufts, and I got to walk around it, and they showed us things, and I don't remember really anything about it. It was anyways,
Good story.
Yeah.
All right. Also happened in 8th grade. All right.
No,
So
it happened this summer between 9th and 10th.
they're a Division III team. So what does that mean, Nick? Like a smaller schools?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that. But for their division, they're back-to-back NCAA champions.
Mm-hmm.
They've won 5 championships altogether. And then this year, in 2025, they were undefeated with a 28-game winning streak.
Damn.
So this is a big-time team.
Lacrosse.
So back in 2023, a year before this event, a senior at Tufts worked as the team's equipment manager. And that kid graduated from Tufts and then went on to join the elite special operations U.S. military group, the Navy SEALs. Now, that kid remained in touch with the Tufts director of sport performance, and together in 2024, they decided to have this freshly minted Navy SEAL come back to his alma mater and run the Tufts men's lacrosse team through some epic physical conditioning. So a later investigation of the event found there was sort of a culture of idolization of the Navy SEALs on the team. Like people were always kind of like there was some sort of, like fun, like, I don't know, whatever. They're elite. We're elite.
Yeah, right.
Like that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that may have led to some sort of attitude of like no pain, no gain. We're all in this together. Like these very intensely competitive, like keep up, right? Even if things start feeling a little bit nuts.
Yeah,
right?
even if your organs are failing.
Anyway, on September 16th, 2024, this Navy SEAL kid, he came in with the permission of the director of sport performance to run what he said was going to be a 45-minute condition exercise. Now, this is a super fancy school, right? With a heralded and precious lacrosse team. So they were supposed to be more formal about like submitting exercise plans to university officials to make sure they complied with standards. But from my understanding, the team and the director of sport performance felt the Navy SEALs were just like rad. So they gave this kid free reign to do whatever he wanted. 61 kids participated in the exercise on that yummy autumn day. The Navy SEAL did not tell them what the workout would entail. Instead, he just did the workout and the other students kind of watched him and did what he did. So the workout ended up lasting about 75 minutes and included around 250 burpees.
Jesus.
Which I'm like, get your ass out of here. 60% of the kids crashed out and had to do modified workouts. They couldn't hack it because they were just struggling. And then the modified workouts were just push-ups and lunges, which would have also just killed my ass. And then 40% of the kids actually finished the workout. And then over the next 3 days, kids started going to the hospital. The crisis slowly started kind of slowly and then just escalated really quickly. Almost half the students who participated in the exercise developed rhabdo to varying degrees. About a dozen of them ended up going to the hospital and 9 were admitted. They all survived.
Yeah.
But that's like kind of the scope of it.
And just
right?
after one extreme workout.
One workout. And that's the crazy thing about it is that, you know, it develops over the period of a few days. And then when it hits, it becomes like critical, really crazy. And the response from school officials was a little crazy go nuts. Like no one was expecting this to happen. And also some of the administrators weren't even aware of this third party coming in to work with the student athletes. So communication with the parents was all over the place. And administrators had a hard time keeping track of all the hospitalized kids who were popcorning off campus, going to different hospitals at different times. There was a terrible job coordinating transportation and medical referrals. And everything started going south so fast, the school lost count of kids with rhabdo. Parents rushed in some cases taking their students out of state for medical care. So the group of officials dealing with this crisis had to meet 8 times before they were sure every student was accounted for, discharged from the hospital, and back on campus.
So, sorry, what were the symptoms? Why were they going to the hospital? What were they feeling?
Extreme soreness and then peeing brown.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's like it's beyond like workout soreness. It's sort of like just horrible soreness.
Yeah.
And then once you get in there, basically your kidneys can start shutting down. So like the kids who were admitted had to like kind of get their systems flushed with IVs and get through it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Lots of swelling. We'll get into, there's more examples that I have. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. I knew a guy doing, lacrosse players. Should I talk about that? I did know. Are we going to go back to the amateur MMA thing?
No.
I did know an amateur MMA guy. He was I told you about him. He was a security guard at Sam's Hofbrau.
Uh-huh.
And he was really, really nice, but he would show up kind of battered up sometimes, with like a black eye or whatever. And I'd be like, what's up? He's like, oh man, I went to the club and this guy was acting like he was always getting into like horrible, like dumb street fights.
Yeah.
And also training to be MMA or like doing amateur MMA fights. So a bunch of people from the club went to one of his fights and he lost. But, it was just so funny because he was so nice and chill when he was being like a tough guy security guard at a strip club, like where you'd think he'd be like maybe aggro or something.
Yeah, right.
And I couldn't really imagine him fighting, but all of his stories were about just like leaving. As soon as he left the strip club, he would just like get into fights, both on purpose and just out and, Anyways, I was like, damn, dude.
I do not want to get punched in the face. I'll tell you that much. All right. In the winter of 2025, the school, Tufts, they actually released a report on the incident because it was so gnarly, owning up to the catastrophe. In the end, they admitted there was no vetting system for third-party physical instructors. And kind of basically what happened was the Navy SEAL kid didn't know enough about exercise science to know that you need to build up the intensity of a workout rather than going from 0 to 100 and then back to 0 again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It sounds like he just really wanted to show off his
like how
Navy
buff he
SEALs
was,
shit,
and then they were trying to be like, "Yeah, we're buff too," and and it just ended up being like not the right choice, And everyone was so hyped up on the Navy SEALs, the kids just did whatever they were told, which ended in a rhabdo extravaganza. Right around the same time as the Tufts lacrosse rhabdo extravaganza, another headline was hitting news outlets. Quote, doctors issue warning over CrossFit challenge at South Carolina woman's biceps explode from doing so many pull-ups.
Oh my God.
So we're probably all on the same page with CrossFit, right? Like, I don't know. I have like, obviously I have a slant to it. If you like love CrossFit, I'm not talking shit, but maybe a little bit from my perspective.
All the CrossFit gyms in our neighborhood have gone out of business.
Right. So for those who don't know, it's sort of a trendy type of gym that was super popular about 10 years ago, where you do really high intensity workouts, like throw kettlebells around and like monster truck tires and deadlift things. And if you're an enthusiast, it does look like this very great, supportive workout environment where you can get super ripped. If you're a cynic, it looks like an awesome way to throw your back out. In our neighborhood, the CrossFit gyms are empty, sweat-stained husks with for lease signs in the windows. According to the internet robots, about a third of CrossFit gyms have shut down since 2018. So like the fat is kind of waning, but it still remains really popular in other parts of the country. Anyway, the intensity of the workouts mixed with a stereotype of the culture being sort of fanatical and cult-like seems to kind of echo the circumstances that led to the Tufts rhabdo debacle.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's standing around pumping each other up, and there's like a big community element to the gym. So like it's like go, go, push, push, push. You know, go as hard as you can, flip that tire over, throw out your back, and you win.
Yeah, Pilates is just like the teacher walks around. She's insanely hot. She tells you what to do, and she's just like, yeah, if you want to look like me, do that. And then you just do that.
Well, there's definitely no like we don't really even talk to each other. There's definitely no like eye contact going on. So let's see. Okay, so last summer in Charleston, South Carolina, 25.
What?
Charleston, North Carolina, or Charleston, South Carolina?
Charleston,
South Carolina.
South Carolina? I'm going to be honest, man. Outside of the Tar Heels, I don't know the difference between North Carolina and South Carolina. I think
so
South
sorry.
Carolina has barbecue sauce and North Carolina has the Tar Heels, and that's all I know.
I don't know what the Tar Heels are.
It's a
Mountains?
famous it's a basketball team and Michael Jordan. It's a college sports, whatever, the North Carolina Tar Heels, University of North Carolina. I don't know. Michael Jordan played basketball.
Oh my
for him.
God, we're so dumb. Sometimes there's like a lot of that, but either way. Okay, so Jessica, 25-year-old Jessica Johnson was in the midst of training for the Murph Challenge. So I don't know. You've heard of this, Nick? Have you?
Yeah, because your punk ass said we should do it. It sounds like you were trying to kill me. Tell this story, then I'll tell my side of the story. Murph Challenge ass bullshit. You were like, let's go do this as a part of this episode. You thought it would be funny.
Try it. I didn't say we should do it. I said we should try it, Nick.
It seems like attempting it would be enough to kill you.
Shut up. The Murph Challenge is a fitness challenge partially sponsored by CrossFit to honor fallen Navy SEAL Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy and raise money for a scholarship foundation in his name. So you run a mile, you do 300 squats, 100 pull-ups, and 200 push-ups. And if you're saucy, you do it with a 20-pound weighted vest. And then you run another mile, and then you complete the whole thing between around 30 to 70.
So what are they trying to raise $20 a year? Who can even do that?
It's so hard to do this. Just yell when I'm done with the sentence.
Okay, sorry.
That would be
Keep
the
going.
most amazing thing
Sorry.
that would ever happen for me. Okay? All completed in about 30 to 70 minutes, depending on how buff you are. Cue outraged Nick.
I feel like that's impossible. I feel like no one can do that.
No, there's national rankings. People totally do it. It's a very organized thing.
100 pull-ups and 200 push-ups?
Yeah. I mean...
Do they mix it up so it'd be like 10 push-ups or like 20 push-ups and you do 10 pull-ups?
You can mix it up, but you just have to finish it within the time. So you don't have to do the same, but you do mile before, mile after, and then I think it's crazy go nuts in the center. You can do different things.
Yeah, that seems literally impossible to me, but damn.
Wow.
Man.
Jessica Johnson.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking buff, okay?
Okay.
Blonde, blue-eyed, really pretty, all-American type. And in the summer of 2024, Jessica was working on her pull-ups. I literally can do 0 pull-ups, so I'm already incredibly impressed. And she was doing, at the time in her workout, 10 sets of 5 pull-ups as a part of her Murph Challenge training. Jessica later said on a TikTok video, quote, I was doing 10 sets of 5 pull-ups. I left the gym pretty tired. I was like, oh man, I'm going to be so sore tomorrow. I hadn't worked out my arms like that in a while. I was super sore. My arms were swollen on Wednesday. And I had never had swollen arms before from a workout. I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, I haven't done pull-ups in forever. It was a hard workout. They'll go down. It's fine. But I was trying to brush my teeth and take a shower. And I thought, oh my God, my arms don't want to work correctly. I couldn't straighten my arms all the way. There was visible swelling. I looked like the Hulk, and everyone said, we just thought you were super jacked or something. And then they just kept getting bigger. So Jessica said, my arm stayed swollen, and as the days went on, they felt like they were getting more swollen, and I started losing feeling in my hands on Friday. That was the big indicator to go in to the hospital on Saturday morning. So Jessica had also been peeing a weird dark orange color this whole time. So 4 days after the initial workout, she decided to go to the hospital. And at the hospital, the swelling in her arms was so bad, doctors almost resorted to cutting open her skin to relieve the tension.
Damn.
The muscle fibers in her arms had stretched out and weakened, and as they broke down, they released all kinds of foreign muscle components and enzymes into her bloodstream. Her kidneys couldn't keep up with filtering her blood, and she ended up with damaged liver and kidneys. Jessica said, quote, they were mostly concerned about my organs. In rhabdo, your cells are basically exploding in your muscles. Your muscles are bursting. It releases these different types of proteins and creatine, and it's very hard on your kidney and liver to try to filter it. It's like blood poisoning since your body can't really filter it out. And they were concerned I was going to go into organ failure. It was my liver that was really damaged. They were more concerned about my kidneys because it can cause irreversible kidney damage. So Jessica spent 4 days in the hospital and ended up making a full recovery.
Good. Thank God.
Afterwards, she said, quote, this was a wake-up call for me to chill out a bit, and that she was going to focus more on, quote, gentle Pilates stuff.
Yeah. There we go. Boom. That's the longevity route, you know?
Yeah.
Gentle Pilates
Gentle
stuff.
Pilates stuff.
Also, she should have called it dope Pilates stuff. Forget gentle.
So
I remember the first time I did a pull-up because I never could do them as a kid. Like,
you did a pull-up?
Yeah, I can do
Can
pull-ups.
you do a pull-up now?
I definitely can this way with your fingers facing you. It's way harder like this way with your
See,
palms
that's why I was
towards your
saying we
face.
should just go to the park and try it.
Well, I remember I could never do the pull-ups during like the president's fitness thing in elementary school, and it was just like always made me feel terrible. But the kids who could really do it were just so like cocky little skinny fucks, and then I lost all that weight when like right around the time we got together. And I was at the Seattle U campus waiting for you or something. And we were like in this gym and there's a pull-up bar. And I just lost all this weight for the first time. And I was like, let me just try a pull-up. And I just went up there and did like 5 pull-ups the hard way. And I felt, it was the first time I'd ever felt light in my life. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was like so thrilling and
I
crazy.
love that. I know that gym. That was a fun gym.
Mm-hmm.
People were rocking ass in that gym.
I remember it being really crowded and big.
Yeah, there was a lot of I'm not into sports, but there were a lot of sports teams
I remember there being like volleyball people around. I don't know.
Yeah, and there were people like really training. So that's kind of cool. So basically I did this episode. I was trying to figure out some sort of epic way, but I just think it's kind of an interesting thing that I wanted to tell you about.
Yeah.
I did like try to find some like academic articles to read about like, you know, CrossFit and rhabdo and like, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So I read a couple of articles in the National Library of Medicine and then the International Journal of Medical Students. And I found, while still uncommon, rhabdo and CrossFit, they do be flirting with each other a little bit, right? So one article published in 2019 called CrossFit and Rhabdo, a case series of 11 patients presenting at a single academic institution, that had a little tea to spill on the subject. The article opens with, quote, recently documented cases of rhabdo, muscle necrosis, and extreme muscle breakdown after CrossFit participation have become increasingly concerning to physicians and participants alike. At one particular hospital, I guess, that they tracked that between 2010 and 2016, 523 patients presented at that hospital with injuries from doing CrossFit, and then 11 of those people had rhabdo. About 80% of the people coming into the hospital were men in their mid-30s who were new to intense exercise.
Yeah. That's what happened to me. I remember at the gym, we did high interval impact training or whatever it's called, high impact interval training. And I twisted my ankle and I felt it go. And the craziest thing about it was there was no pain. It didn't feel like anything. I felt my ankle really twist in this crazy way. And I was like, that is not supposed to happen, but whatever. It doesn't hurt. So then I just kept working out, walked home from the gym. You were teaching a class or something. So we got in the car and I drove.
Oh, that's
you,
right. No,
and then
you
I
picked
dropped
me
you
up.
off. Well, I dropped you off, and then I went to this coffee shop to work on a script or whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
And then I got up at one point to use the bathroom, and I was like, it hurt so bad, and then I had to limp all the way back to the car because I had parked kind of far from the coffee shop, and then picked you up, and I was like, I'm done. Like I can't go to work. Like this is.
You were so upset. I remember that
so bad.
And then you came home and we put your leg up and iced it, and then I got you some Amaro to drink on the rocks, and then I took a picture of you, put it on Instagram, and you got mad at me.
Yeah, I
They said bitter liquor for a bitter Italian food.
Yeah, that was jacked up of you.
All right. I also came across another article. It was called 2 Cases of CrossFit-Induced Rhabdomyolysis. Myelitis. Mother of God.
Yeah, 2 cases of CrossFit-induced
rhabdo. A rising concern. And that gave, a few more details. Like one 33-year-old man in Atlanta, Georgia, came into the ER with rhabdo symptoms after doing 100 push-ups, pull-ups, squats. So 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 100 squats, and 100 sit-ups in 30 minutes during a CrossFit session. His muscles had degraded enough and released so much of a particular enzyme, this CK enzyme, that his blood tests were off the chart. So a normal value for the amount of this enzyme in the blood is like 50 to 300 units per liter. And this guy's reading was over 98,000 units per
God.
liter. His muscles had released so much of this protein. And then another guy in his mid-30s presented to the same ER after doing the exact same workout at the exact same gym. And his CK enzyme level was 148,000 units per liter. They both made full recoveries. And it's hard to draw any real conclusions from all this because cases are underreported and CrossFit injuries aren't recorded in any organized way by health institutions. And on top of that, there's this huge, range of what rhabdo is, right? Some people can just drink a lot of water and rest. Some people need IV, there's a huge scope of them. So some of them aren't even hospitalized, but have the symptoms, right?
Right.
But there was enough noise and criticism about rhabdo CrossFit. Is this too extreme? For the organization to pen a response. So back in 2010, the CrossFit Journal released an article titled "The Truth About Rhabdo." It read in part, "There is no way to separate the effectiveness of the training from all risk. A completely safe training program is doomed to produce only couch potatoes."
What's their angle?
I don't know. It's great. I read it was just kind of
basically what they're saying is any form of exercise is potentially dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a big difference between taking a nice brisk walk and swinging a kettlebell around with bad form, while everybody's screaming at you to go faster.
Yeah.
So I get it.
It really is interesting that it doesn't sound like this is an issue in the bodybuilding community. You didn't bring up a single example, and I'm guessing it's because for people that take that really seriously, they go to gyms and it's so high. The science of it is so specific at this point. It's not just a bunch of bros that are get ripped.
I don't know, actually. I mean, I kind of just was following different stories that seemed interesting in the news. There could be some muscle building, muscle builders. I mean, I think it's probably like you're saying, it's like more scientific, like you build and you alternate leg days, and it's about the long term, like building muscle. So maybe it's a little different than like people, we'll get into this, but a lot of the time, that's what we're going to close out with, is that the people at the most risk for this are actually people who tend to be sedentary and then are like weekend warriors.
Yeah, they're like, it's time for boot camp. I need a 3-day boot camp.
Come on.
No, but we're not that.
We are kind of like that.
We've been like that in the past. Not right now.
Okay.
We've turned over a new leaf, but also our version of boot camp is definitely not this.
No, but we have like been the like, we got to get it together, and then like go on a hike and then can't walk for 3 days. I mean, that's definitely true.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. It's not trying to...
And also Tia did some evil stuff on the Pilates chair thing, and I couldn't walk for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking she gave me rhabdo.
Yeah, she might have given you rhabdo.
I'm gonna ask her.
Okay.
Did you give me rhabdo, girl?
No, don't do that. Most people don't even know what it is.
She's gonna think it's an STD. She's like, literally no. Get away from me. I'm calling the police.
All right, but you don't need official organizations like CrossFit to get your rhabdo on, okay? Mm-hmm. So we'll finish beating this dead horse with a reminder of the power of social media. It's not just college athletes, MMA fighters, and fitness buffs who are vulnerable to this lurking deadly menace. You can never forget the power of social media when it comes to being extreme about stuff, and that would also include exercise. Summer of 2019 in the Chinese city of Chongqing, inspired by social media fitness posts, 19-year-old Xiao Tang challenged her girlfriend to a squat competition. Now, I'm not sure, but I think this specifically was this influencer Cassie Ho's 1,000 squat challenge that went kind of viral. Yeah. Anyway, both girls were relatively sedentary and they wanted to pump up the booty. So they did the whole thing over video call to make sure the other one wasn't cheating. For hours, they did one squat at a time, staring each other down, both stubbornly refusing to give up on the challenge. And after they each did 1,000 squats apiece, they agreed to call it a draw and went to bed exhausted. 2 days later, Xiao Tang started peeing brown and couldn't bend her legs. So her boyfriend rushed her to the hospital where she was treated for rhabdo and made a full recovery. And as she was hospitalized, Xiao Tang called her squat buddy and found out her friend had also been hospitalized for brown pee and frozen legs. Gave each other rhabdo. So I also kind of tried to find some articles that connected rhabdo and like social media exercise trends. I found a couple of like middling articles about like how social media is driving up the cases of rhabdo through unrealistic expectations, body photoshopping, and then these extreme trends. And I think because rhabdo is relatively rare, has a large spectrum of severity, plus it's underreported, there's no like definitive answer on whether social media is truly driving up cases. Mm-hmm. But in terms of social media, I did find a crap ton of Reddit posts warning people about rhabdo. You know, it's just an anecdotal account, but I thought it would be fun to finish out with some of those.
Of course, Reddit, your favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, and also like it is this kind of thing where you're like, oh, it's so rare. And nobody like, you know, but it's also underreported and da-da-da-da. And then you go and just type in rhabdo into Reddit and there's like 10,000 people being like, oh, I got rhabdo. So, you know, I mean,
thought I had rhabdo because I peed all this brown out. And then my girlfriend was like, hey, dummy, that's just diarrhea.
Okay.
So it turns out it's chill.
So here's some select quotes from some people. Quote, 2 days ago, I decided to hit the gym for the first time in about 3 years and went at it head first. I have a buddy who's into lifting, and he offered to help me out and train me. We worked back, which included deadlifts and wide arm pull-ups. I am being transferred to an ICU where I may need dialysis to lower the levels of potassium and CK, creatine kinase, in my blood, all because of a 45-minute workout. I'm 5'10", 135-pound guy that just wanted to put on some muscle. Has this happened to anyone else? How did it go?
Damn.
Another quote. I had rhabdo a few years ago, but I had no idea what it was. My brother and his friend had been lifting for a few years, and I finally wanted to get into it. Long story short, my thoughts were, if they can do it, I can do it. My arms swelled to probably 3 times their normal size. It was so bad, I couldn't even find my elbows and couldn't even move them due to the swelling. I ended up in the hospital for 48 hours. I was told I had higher levels in my blood than a guy who had come in from a meat grinder accident.
Higher levels of what?
Like these like proteins and stuff released like from a crush injury.
Jeez.
And, quote, after being fat, lazy bastard for 15 years, I decided to hire a personal trainer and get in shape. Wednesday, I did a pretty extreme chest and arms day. Friday, I did a fairly heavy leg day. Friday at lunch, I wasn't feeling well. I wasn't able to eat much, feeling nauseous and a little lightheaded. I figured it was just a side effect of working out hard. And then I went home early from the office to rest. When I got home, I went to the restroom and my pee was dark brown. I was like, that ain't right. I was admitted Friday night to the ER for rhabdo. Also, there are such post titles as this week I hit the gym with a personal trainer after 15 years of sitting on my ass and lazy dieting. Friday night I was admitted to the hospital. Beware the brown pee. And a year ago I ran a marathon on 0 days training and it put me in the hospital through Christmas. Also rhabdo.
God, you know what's funny is like I've definitely gone. Like, remember that time I did that kickboxing thing?
Yes. This is why I wanted to tell you this story.
And it's like,
it just reminds me of you.
But the thing is like I'm almost like mad that I didn't get rhabdo, because what does it mean? Just that I could have
worked harder.
I know I didn't go as hard as I thought I could. I mean, I was like lightheaded, like sore for a week afterwards.
I know. I mean, part of the reason why we started doing Pilates is because I was like, I don't want to do any more of this hard shit.
Yeah, let's just find something that's enjoyable that we can just do,
doesn't
consistently.
Destroy you. I mean, like, I can't tell you. I know that you're like protesting about it, but this reminds me of us so much of like not exercising and then kind of still being strong so you go as hard as you can and then you can't move your arms for 3 days. This is like, we do this.
I've definitely done that multiple.
Many times, like over 20 years. So many times. All right. So medical officer for the FBI, Dr. Bruce Cohen, told LiveScience.com, quote, anytime you go on a long run or lift weights, your muscles break down, sending a protein called myoglobin through the bloodstream into your kidneys, which filters them out. In fact, if you were to measure the amount of muscle protein in your blood after a 5-mile run, say, it would certainly be higher than before you began. That's just the way your body works. The difference is that with rhabdo, your kidneys can't handle the sheer quantity of dead muscle fibers. It's the weekend warriors, those folks who sit at a desk all week and then head out for monster training runs come Saturday, who really need to be careful. In the end, he concluded, listen to your body. Don't be stupid. The end.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's
yeah, I never felt, I mean, I was already really feeling self-righteous about our current fitness stuff, but now I just feel so self-righteous. I'm like loving this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, be chill. Do some gentle Pilates stuff. All right, that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for listening to Muriel's Murders. R.I.P. Jake from the beginning. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. That is really sad. That's horrible.
Yeah. Well, that was like one of those cases where like he thought he wasn't as sore as some of these people are talking
right.
about.
It sounds like he'd been working himself up for a while. He's not a weekend warrior.
No, and like he was training and working all the way up, going to school. Like he wasn't like he was like bedbound or sick or tired or swollen.
Yeah. All right. This is a public warning event or public service
PSA,
announcement. And you guys, so you're welcome.
You're
listeners.
welcome. And if you want more and you're new to the Patreon, we did one about how common it is for people to bite people's noses off and how to avoid that. And we also did one about drinking bootleg liquor. So this is a series that I like to do sometimes because I just worry about things. So I like to make sure that we're all prepared for the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And that's many people's justification for listening to true crime. And who am I to judge? Just kidding. I'm Nick. That's my job. Shout out Colleen, one of our new people. Anyways, okay. We're going to be done now. That's the end of the episode. Bye, everyone. Thank you. We love you.
Bye.